Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the data streaming across her quantum computer's holographic display, her hands trembling as she processed the implications. After 15 years of studying mysterious signal patterns from the Kuiper Belt, she had finally cracked the code. But the truth was far more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. Director Matthews, she spoke into her comm unit, her voice steady despite her racing heart. I need you in the lab. Now. James Matthews arrived within minutes, his usually pristine uniform wrinkled from a long day of managing the Global Space Defense Initiative. This better be good, Chen. I was in the middle of. They've been watching us, Sarah interrupted, bringing up a three-dimensional map of the solar system. Hundreds of points of light flickered across the display, each representing a hidden observation post. The whole time. Since before we split the atom. Matthews leaned forward, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic glow. Who's been watching us? They call themselves the Stellar Confederation. I've decoded their communications. They're everywhere. Sarah highlighted a cluster of signals originating from the dark side of the moon. These installations, they're not just watching. They've been guiding our technological development, leaving breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs. Matthews' eyes narrowed. You mean every major technological breakthrough in the last century? Sarah confirmed. Quantum computing, fusion power, gravitational manipulation. They weren't just human innovations. We were meant to find them, to develop them. She pulled up another display, showing the decoded alien text. But here's the thing. We weren't supposed to figure this out. Not for another 50 years, at least. Matthews sank into a nearby chair, his military bearing momentarily forgotten. Why? What's their endgame? Control. Sarah's voice hardened. The Confederation does this to every promising species they find. Guide their development, shape their civilization, then reveal themselves once the species is sufficiently advanced, but not advanced enough to resist integration into their empire. But we decoded their signals ahead of schedule. Exactly. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. And that's not all. Their technology. Director, we've already reversed engineered most of it. The quantum defense grid, the dark matter drives, projects they thought would take us decades to develop after first contact. We did it in years. Matthews stood abruptly, his strategic mind already racing with implications. How many others know about this? Just my core team. 5 people total. Keep it that way. Matthews activated his secure comm unit. This goes straight to the Security Council. But first, he turned to Sarah. Show me everything. Every installation, every piece of technology they left for us to find. If we're going to turn this around on them, we need to know exactly what we're dealing with. For the next 3 hours, Sarah laid out her findings. The Stellar Confederation, it turned out, was an ancient alliance of species that had perfected the art of technological shepherding. They would identify promising civilizations, seed their solar systems with advanced technology disguised as natural phenomena or archaeological discoveries, then watch as the species developed along predetermined lines. The genius of it, Sarah explained, is that they make each species think they're making these discoveries on their own. It creates a sense of pride, of achievement. Then, when first contact happens, the species is so grateful for the opportunity to join this advanced civilization that they never question their place in the hierarchy. But we found out early, Matthews mused. How many years did we just buy ourselves? Based on their timetable. At least 50. Maybe more. Sarah brought up a new display, showing the location of what appeared to be a massive installation in the Oort cloud. And there's something else. This facility. It's not just an observation post. It's a gateway, a faster-than-light transportation hub that they use to monitor multiple developing civilizations simultaneously. Matthews' eyes gleamed. Can we access it? Better than that. Sarah pulled up schematics that her team had pieced together. We can control it. The quantum encryption they use, it's based on principles we cracked 2 years ago. They have no idea how far we've come. The implications were staggering. Humanity had not only discovered the surveillance network meant to guide their development, they had already surpassed many of the technological barriers the Confederation had planned to use as control mechanisms. "We need to move fast," Matthews said, already drafting plans in his mind. "Once they realize we've detected their network." Hours later, Helena stood in a secure meeting room, facing the alien delegation. The Nexians, as they called themselves, were crystalline beings whose bodies seemed to shift and flow like liquid glass. Their leader, who called himself First Light of Dawn, projected his thoughts directly into the minds of the assembled humans. "Your progress is remarkable," First Light communicated. "In 50 cycles of watching civilizations discover the Confederation's manipulation, we have never seen such rapid advancement." "Tell us about the rebellion," Helena pressed. "What happened?" The alien's crystalline form darkened with what might have been sorrow. "We were like you. We discovered their surveillance too early. But we acted hastily, revealed our knowledge too soon." The Confederation's response was devastating. Billions dead, our homeworld reduced to atomic ash. Dr. Chen, who had joined the meeting, leaned forward. "But you escaped with technology, with knowledge." "Yes." First Light's form brightened slightly. "We bring understanding of their weaknesses, their command structures, their true technological capabilities. But more importantly, the alien projected an image into their minds of a massive space station. We know the location of their central control hub, the heart of their entire surveillance network." Helena exchanged glances with Matthews. This was exactly the kind of intelligence they needed. But there was something else she had to know. "Why come to us? Why Earth?" "Because," First Light replied, "in all our centuries of running, of watching other species discover the truth, you are the first we've seen with the potential to actually win. Your adaptation rate, your innovative capacity, it exceeds anything in Confederation records. You've already developed technologies they haven't imagined possible." Matthews stepped forward. "Then help us. Join your knowledge with ours. Together, we can." The meeting was interrupted by another alarm. Dr. Chen rushed to a nearby console, her face paling as she read the data. "Director, Admiral, we have movement. Multiple Confederation monitoring stations are going active. They're initiating deep scans of the solar system." They detected the Nexian ship, Helena realized. "They're looking for it." "Not just looking," First Light corrected, his crystalline form pulsing with urgency. "They're preparing to initiate premature contact protocols. They suspect their surveillance has been compromised. They will come soon, with overwhelming force, to ensure Earth's compliance before you can develop further." Helena's jaw tightened. This changed everything. They weren't ready. The quantum cascade weapons were barely tested, their stealth systems still experimental. But ready or not, the confrontation they had hoped to delay was coming. "How long?" Matthews demanded. "Based on standard Confederation protocols." First Light's thoughts carried grim certainty. "No more than 3 of your months." Helena stood, her decision made. "Then we have 3 months to prepare our surprise. Dr. Chen, update all research teams. Dr. Wang, begin mass production of the quantum weapons. And First Light," she turned to the crystalline being, "show us everything you know about their tactical protocols. It's time to turn their own surveillance network against them." As the meeting broke up and orders flew across secure channels, Helena gazed at the holographic display of Earth's hidden defense grid. They had hoped for more time, but perhaps this was better. The Confederation was coming, expecting to find a primitive species ready for harvesting. Instead, they would face humanity at its most dangerous, backed into a corner, armed with stolen knowledge, and prepared to fight for its freedom. The silent preparation was over. The time for strength had come. The Confederation's High Council chamber was a marvel of engineering, a vast spherical space suspended within an artificial quantum singularity. Thousands of representatives from hundreds of species gathered in floating platforms arranged in concentric circles, all focused on the unexpected arrival on the central platform. Ambassador Michael Torres stood alone, his simple black uniform a stark contrast to the ornate garments of the assembled aliens. He had insisted on making this presentation himself, despite the risks. Some messages needed a human touch. "Esteemed members of the Stellar Confederation," he began, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber's perfect acoustics. "I come before you today with a message from Earth." High Chancellor Vex Terra, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, floated forward. "Earth, that primitive world is not due for contact for another 50 cycles. How did you even reach this facility?" Michael allowed himself a small smile. "That's actually the first item we need to discuss. Your surveillance network. We found it. All of it. The observation posts, the technological breadcrumbs, the development guidelines. Everything." A wave of murmurs swept through the chamber. Vex Terra's energy form flickered with what might have been concern. "Impossible. Your species lacks the capability to detect quantum-encrypted transmissions, to reverse engineer phase-shifted cloaking technology, to access your FTL network." Michael's smile widened. "You might want to update your assessment of human capabilities." The chamber erupted in chaos as representatives shouted questions and demands. Vex Terra's form crackled with barely contained energy. Silence. The chamber quieted instantly. "Continue, human. What is the purpose of this unauthorized contact?" "To deliver a warning." Michael's expression hardened. "For centuries, your confederation has manipulated developing civilizations. You seed their worlds with technology, guide their development along predetermined paths, then absorb them into your empire once they're advanced enough to be useful but not enough to resist. It ends now." Laughter echoed through the chamber. Vex Terra's form pulsed with amusement. "And who will end it? Your single world. Your handful of colonies." Michael touched a control on his wrist. Above the chamber, the quantum singularity containment field flickered briefly. The laughter died instantly. "That was a demonstration," Michael said calmly. "The localized quantum cascade effect, temporarily disrupting your containment systems. Technology you thought we wouldn't develop for another century. Would you like to see what else we've learned?" "Guards," Vex Terra commanded. Energy beings materialized around Michael, weapons ready. Michael didn't move. "Before your guards try anything, you should know that I'm not actually here. This is a quantum-entangled projection. My real body is safely on Earth. And Earth." He touched another control, causing every display in the chamber to activate simultaneously, showing images of Earth's hidden defense grid. Earth is no longer the primitive world you thought you were monitoring. The images showed vast fleets of ships emerging from dimensional pockets throughout the solar system. Weapons platforms previously cloaked by technology beyond even Confederation understanding. And at the heart of it all, a quantum network that had already compromised the Confederation's most secure systems. "Impossible," someone in the chamber whispered. "They've surpassed the development timeline by centuries. Here is our warning." Michael continued, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's resolve. "Withdraw your surveillance networks from all developing civilizations. End your program of technological shepherding. Grant independence to those species you've already absorbed who wish it. You have 1 Earth month to comply." Vex Terra's form had darkened to a deep crimson. "Or what, human? Or we release everything. Every detail of your manipulation to every species in the Confederation. Every piece of evidence showing how you've guided and controlled their development. And then," Michael's projection began to fade. "Then we show them how to break free, just as we did. You would dare challenge the full might of the Confederation. We have ruled the galaxy for millennia." "No," Michael corrected as his image grew dimmer. "You've controlled the galaxy for millennia. There's a difference. You've never faced a species that broke free of your guidance this completely, this early. You've never faced humans." As Michael's projection vanished entirely, The chamber's displays showed one final image, a countdown clock, ticking down from one Earth month. Back on Earth, in the secure command center of Deep Horizon, Michael opened his eyes as the quantum projection system powered down. Admiral Rodriguez and Director Matthews waited for his report. Message delivered, Michael said, standing from the projection chamber. They reacted exactly as the Nexians predicted. Complete denial followed by anger and threats. And the quantum cascade demonstration, Helena asked, worked perfectly. They know we can breach their most secure systems. Now we wait. They won't comply, Matthews said grimly. Their entire empire is built on this system of control. They can't afford to let us succeed. No, Michael agreed. They can't, which is exactly why we had to show them just enough of our capabilities to make them afraid, but not enough to show them everything. He turned to Helena. Is the fleet ready? All ships in position. Quantum weapons primed. The Nexian protocols have been fully integrated into our defense grid. We're as ready as we'll ever be. Matthews studied the global defense readiness display. Then we wait. Either they back down and free dozens of civilizations from their control, or they attack, Helena finished, and we show them exactly how dangerous a cornered humanity can be. The countdown had begun. In 1 month, the galaxy would change forever. The only question was how many worlds would burn before the Confederation learned that humanity would never accept their chains. The warning had been delivered. Now came the hard part, being ready for the response. The Confederation strike force emerged from hyperspace exactly 3 weeks after humanity's warning. 5,000 ships, the largest fleet ever assembled, filled the space between Mars and Jupiter. Their energy signatures lit up Deep Horizon's quantum sensors like a sunrise. Admiral Helena Rodriguez studied the tactical display with cold satisfaction. Right on schedule. Status of Operation Shadow. All systems go, Dr. Chen reported from her station. Quantum entanglement network is stable. Sleeper agents are in position throughout their fleet. The Confederation had made exactly one mistake in their centuries of technological shepherding. They taught humanity too well. Every piece of technology they'd left for humans to discover had been studied, improved, and weaponized, including their own FTL communication systems. Message from the enemy flagship, communications announced. They're demanding our immediate surrender. Helena nodded to Michael Torres, who still bore the title of ambassador despite the breakdown in diplomacy. Give them our response. Michael activated the quantum comm. His voice would reach every ship in the Confederation fleet simultaneously. This is Earth. We see you've chosen violence. So be it. He nodded to Helena, who pressed a single button on her command console. Across the Confederation fleet, chaos erupted. Ships suddenly lost power as their quantum cores initiated emergency shutdowns. Defense systems went offline as security protocols rewrote themselves, and on hundreds of vessels, hidden human agents, quantum-projected avatars controlled by operators in Deep Horizon, emerged from cover. Phase 1 complete, Dr. Chen reported. Their fleet is paralyzed. Helena's voice was steel. Launch the quantum fleet. From dimensional pockets scattered throughout the solar system, humanity's true military might emerge. Ships of impossible design, built with technology centuries beyond what the Confederation believed Earth capable of producing. At their heart were the quantum cascade weapons, devices that could unravel the fabric of space-time itself. This is Admiral Rodriguez to all Earth forces, Helena broadcast. Execute attack pattern Omega. Show them what humanity can do when pushed too far. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Confederation ships, struggling to restore power, found themselves facing weapons they couldn't understand. Quantum cascade beams tore reality apart around their largest vessels. Dimensional shears cut battle groups off from reinforcement. And through it all, human ships danced through space with impossible precision, guided by AI systems that had evolved far beyond their original Confederation designs. In the Deep Horizon Command Center, First Light of Dawn watched with his crystalline form gleaming in approval. In all our years of resistance, we never achieved such complete dominance over Confederation forces. We had good teachers, Michael replied grimly. They spent centuries showing us exactly how their technology worked. Did they really think we wouldn't improve upon it? A new alert flashed on the tactical display. Dr. Chen's hands flew over her controls. Multiple quantum signatures detecting. They're bringing in reinforcements. Through tiers in spacetime. Thousands more Confederation ships appeared. But Helena just smiled. Exactly as predicted, she said. Execute Phase 2. Throughout Confederation space, carefully planted quantum viruses activated. On hundreds of worlds, the surveillance networks that had guided and controlled developing civilizations suddenly broadcast the truth, evidence of manipulation, proof of control, and detailed instructions for breaking free. Reports coming in, communications announced, uprisings on 37 Confederation worlds. Their colonial forces are being recalled to deal with domestic unrest. The reinforcement fleet suddenly found itself receiving desperate calls for help from their home systems. Ships began breaking formation, jumping away to deal with chaos spreading across the Empire. Their own arrogance defeated them, First Light observed. They never imagined their subjects would turn against them, so they built no safeguards against mass rebellion. Helena watched as the mighty Confederation fleet dissolved into chaos. Status of their remaining forces. Primary fleet is at 40% strength and falling. Tactical reported. Quantum cascade weapons have disabled their flagship. Their command and control structure is collapsing. Send the demand, Helena ordered. Michael reopened the quantum comm. Confederation forces, your empire is falling. Your subjugated worlds are breaking free. Your technology has been turned against you. Surrender now, or face complete annihilation. For long moments, silence filled the command channel. Then, a broken transmission from the Confederation flagship. We yield. Gods help us, we yield. Helena's expression remained hard. Secure their surrender. Deploy containment teams. And send word to our allies among the liberated species. The Shadow War is over. The real work of building a free galaxy begins now. As humanity's ships moved to secure their victory, Dr. Chen approached Helena with a troubled expression. Admiral, we've detected unusual quantum signatures from several Confederation vessels. They're attempting to purge their databases. Let them try, Helena replied. We already have everything we need. Their secrets, their technology, their entire history of manipulation. It's all been preserved. Never again will they be able to control developing civilizations from the shadows. The battle was over, but Helena knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had not only broken free from Confederation control, they had shattered the very foundation of their empire. Now came the challenge of helping dozens of species adjust to true independence, while ensuring the Confederation could never rebuild their system of control. The shadows of war were lifting, revealing a galaxy forever changed by humanity's refusal to be controlled. 1 year after humanity's victory over the Confederation, the Great Hall of the new Galactic Council hummed with activity. Representatives from 50 formerly subjugated species gathered to forge a different kind of alliance, one built on equality rather than control. Admiral Helena Rodriguez, now Earth's representative to the Council, stood at the central podium. Behind her, the quantum display showed the ongoing dismantling of the Confederation's vast surveillance network. The last control hub has been deactivated, she announced. The system that monitored and manipulated developing civilizations for millennia is officially dead. From his crystalline platform, First Light of Dawn glowed with satisfaction. The Nexians, along with other refugee species, had finally returned home. And what of the Confederation leadership? Contained, Helena replied. Their remaining fleet is restricted to their home systems, monitored by quantum sensors that can no longer deceive. Their ability to project power beyond their borders has been permanently broken. The council chamber filled with appreciative murmurs. But not everyone was celebrating. a representative of the Yith, a species that had been under Confederation control for over 10,000 years, raised concerns. What prevents Earth from simply taking the Confederation's place? The Yith asked. You possess technology that surpasses even their understanding now. How can we trust this power won't corrupt you as it did them? Michael Torres stepped forward to address this. Because we remember what it means to be the ones under control. That's why Earth insisted on our first resolution, the Technology Liberation Accord. The Chamber's displays shifted to show the Accord's core principles. All advancement guiding technology must be freely shared. No species may interfere with the natural development of another, and any civilization seeking membership in the Council must be allowed to progress at its own pace. Dr. Sarah Chen, who had first discovered the Confederation's surveillance, took the podium. We've also established the Open Development Initiative. Every piece of technology we recovered, every advancement we made, it's all being shared equally among Council members. No more secrets, no more controlled evolution. And what of the younger species? Another representative asked. Those who were still under observation. We've given them a choice, Helena explained. They can either continue their development naturally or accept mentorship, not control, from the Council. Many have chosen to join us, but on their own terms, at their own pace. The discussion continued as the Council debated policies for the new Galactic Order. But the fundamental change was clear. The age of manipulation and control was over. In its place, something new was emerging. An alliance of equals, bound together by shared experience and determination to never again let power corrupt so completely. Later, in a private chamber overlooking the Council Hall, Helena met with First Light and the other architects of the new order. There are still challenges ahead, First Light observed. Some Confederation loyalists remain hidden. Not all species are adjusting well to true independence, and we've detected unusual quantum signatures from beyond the galactic rim. Let them come, Helena replied. Whatever's out there will find a galaxy united in ways the Confederation never imagined possible. Their greatest mistake wasn't underestimating humanity's technological capabilities. It was failing to understand that true strength comes from cooperation, not control. Dr. Chen studied data streams from the quantum network that now connected Council worlds. The rate of technological advancement among member species has actually increased since we dismantled the control systems. Turns out freedom breeds innovation better than carefully managed development. Michael smiled. The Confederation spent millennia trying to create the perfect galactic order through manipulation and fear. We achieved more in 1 year through trust and collaboration. A soft chime indicated the Council was reconvening. Before they returned, Helena paused to look out at the assembled representatives. Former enemies sat together, sharing knowledge and resources. Species that had been isolated by Confederation protocols now formed cultural and scientific exchanges. The galaxy was healing, growing, evolving, not according to some grand design, but through the natural chaos of free will and cooperation. Ready for the next phase? She asked her companions. First Light's crystalline form sparkled. The Deep Space Exploration Initiative. It's time we stopped reacting to what's out there and started exploring it ourselves, Helena confirmed, not as conquerors or controllers, but as equals seeking knowledge. As they returned to the Council chamber, Helena reflected on the long journey that had brought them here. The Confederation had intended to guide humanity's development, never imagining that their tools of control would become instruments of liberation. Their pride had been their downfall, the belief that they alone could determine the proper course of galactic civilization. The new dawn had brought not just change, but understanding. The galaxy was too vast, too complex for any one species to control. True power lay not in domination, but in the willingness to learn from each other, to grow together, to face the unknown as equals. The age of shadows had passed. The dawn of change had come, and humanity, once meant to be just another controlled species, had helped light the way to a truly free galaxy.